welcome back, and if this is your first time on my channel, welcome. I'm so glad you're joining me. My name is Tina Zinck. I'm an independent demonstrator with Stampin Up, and I live in a tiny little town called Heatherton in Nova Scotia. Today I am stamping on the fly. I need to make a birthday card for our friend and neighbor, and I want to use the Peaceful Deer stamp set and create a beautiful background. So I'm going to film the process to share it with you because I've already made a fun little home decor piece that I liked so much I thought I could turn that into a really great birthday card. So I'm going to show you both the card and the little framed piece. And these will also make great little Christmas pieces for your home decor or for gifts. So anyhow, I can't wait to share it with you. Let's start stamping. So I'm using basic white for my background. This measures 3 3/4 by 5. And then I have a piece of computer paper. This is what I normally put inside my cards, and this measures 4 by 5 1/4. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tear this randomly, kind of curvy, like that. Post-it note would be handy. I don't know where my post-it notes are right now, like the great big ones. You could also put some of our liquid glue, if you think in advance enough, put a little bit on and let it dry and go tacky, and then it's repositionable. One of my lovely YouTube subscribers shared that idea with me about a year ago, and I loved it. But I didn't think far enough ahead. So I'm just gonna hold this mat down. That's gonna create my ground. All right, so I'm just gonna put this here. I'm only going up maybe 1/3 of that cardstock. I'm not going up too high because I want more sky than ground. So I'm gonna start with my So Saffron, and I've got my blending brush, and I'm just gonna pick up some color and just lightly work it on. Oops, this is why it's good if you have that post-it note, then you don't have that paper bending up. You want to have it nice and smooth. So I'm just blending it lightly on top. So I can kind of move that now, and you can see I've got the ground down there. So next I'm going to pull in, let's see, maybe Calypso Coral, because I can't remember the colors that I used on the original. And I'm just going to go off on my grid sheet first because I don't want it to be too dark when I'm blending it on. You can always add more color and make it darker, so I like to work light first and then just add as I go along. And I do want to add some more, make it a little bit darker. Okay. And next I'm going to pull in some rich raspberry. Again, go off a little bit and work it in. So I am blending it into the previous color as well. I love how they shade in together. It's already looking pretty. And now I'm going to take one of my favorite colors, which is Misty Moonlight. And just work it in. And I do want this to be darker up on the top, so I'm going to keep adding ink until I get the desired intensity of that blue that I want. And I'm also going to work that into the rich raspberry as well. So pretty. And here we go. So now I'm taking the opposite half of this piece that I had torn. I'm going to turn this upside down. I'm just going to position this on top, like so. And I don't want that base to look like snow. So I want to add some green, and Old Olive is my favorite green. So that's what I'm adding. Oops, there we go. And it's gonna go over that yellow line a little bit, and that's all right. So I'm just gonna work that in, just like I did the sky. And that's gonna be my grass. Pull in my soft suede, and I'm just gonna add a little bit. And I don't want it to be super dark. Just wanna blend in some brown to make it look like ground. And then I can always go back in with my green. So there's my ground and my sky. Now I'm pulling in the Peaceful Deer stamp set, and this does have a coordinating punch, but not for the deer that I want to use. Look at all my punched pieces. You can tell I've been using a lot of masks and having a lot of fun with this stamp set. I really love this stamp set. And let's grab a block. Okay, so I'm gonna stamp this with my black Memento ink pad. I'm just gonna stamp them down here just a bit. And I'm gonna stamp some trees while I have the black out, because I kind of want these stamped images to look like silhouettes. And I'm gonna pull in my my foam mat, because I want to get a really good impression, and these are photopolymers, so I'm gonna stamp this right here. I'm just gonna hold it down for a minute to give it that ink a chance to really soak into the paper, and then I'm gonna stamp another one. So I got a piece of scrap paper here from where I've been stamping earlier today, so I'm gonna stamp on that. I'm just gonna stamp it down and off the page a little bit. Stamp these 3 trees here. I'm gonna stamp them over here so they look like they're off in the distance. I have a feeling I stamped those crooked as well. No, I didn't. Oh, that's a first time for everything. And then I have these 2 little trees. Stamp set's so much fun. I'm gonna stamp them right in here. I'm gonna stamp them actually on top of this other tree, so it looks like they're behind it. I'm gonna stamp again actually without re-inking. That way it makes it look like I've got the trees off in the background as well. I think I'm gonna do that over here, so I'm gonna stamp off a couple times and then stamp right on top of my deer. There. Now I'm going to take my black marker and I'm going to color in the deer. But I want him to be a silhouette against that sky. So I'm going to go ahead and speed this up while I color him in. There's my deer, nice silhouette against the sky. I've decided I'm gonna add some antlers to this guy. So I have to pull this close so I can see what I'm doing. The antlers kind of look like they're coming outside of his ears, but they also look like they're behind his head as well, so I'm okay with that. So this next stamp that I'm using is this one right here, just to add some lines to the grass, you know, kind of give the grass some dimension, if you will. So I'm just going to stamp it here and there. Let's go off. I like going off a lot. Okay. Could even do it here, and I'm gonna flip it around. There. I always like looking at my stamp sets. I have them right beside me and seeing what other images I can pull out from stamp sets into different cards I'm making, and I love the birds. So I'm gonna add my birds as well. And, you know, people may wonder, why have you got seagulls in the forest? But, you know, let's pretend they're crows. So I'm going to ink those up really, really, really well. I'm going to stamp them on right here. Oh. So you see how I got the little extra bits of ink that I didn't want? I'm going to turn those into birds too. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take the fine tip of my black marker, and I'm just going to kind of add wings. And this one's kind of a weird one. That one's doing a nosedive. And I like things to be odd numbers, so now that we have 4, I'm going to put another one here. Just a small one, then it looks like he's way in the back trying to catch up. So now I have birds and my deer, got all kinds of stuff going on. Now I want to stamp my happy birthday, so I'm taking my anti-static bag. Somebody mentioned if you don't have one of these, because Stampin' Up doesn't sell their embossing buddies anymore, that you can use a dryer sheet, which is awesome. I didn't realize that. That just removes the static off your paper so that you're not getting embossing powder where you don't want it, because I'm going to emboss the sentiment onto this card just to give it a little bit of shine. So I'm gonna stick that there, put my magnet down, and pick my sentiment. All right, I've decided to use the Happy Birthday from the Shaded Summer. I am so hooked on this stamp set right now. I'll actually show you my thank you cards I made earlier for my customers using this stamp set. Isn't that a fun, beautiful, so simple, by the way. The background was from one of our paper pumpkin kits we recently got. I can't recall the name of it. And then I used Heartfelt Wishes for the sentiment. I can show you that in a sec. Here we go. This is the Heartfelt Wishes. Great, great stamp set. So yeah, super fun, super quick. And I just put some sequins on. Some of them have different... Here, let me pull some in. I made a lot. So these have different colored sequins. Some of my cards that I already mailed today have rhinestones. So yeah, fast, easy, beautiful, little linen thread bow. Yes, and I stamped the envelopes to coordinate. So yeah, I'm loving this stamp set. So, and it's got so many great sentiments in it as well. So that's where I got the happy birthday from. So I'm gonna position it right about there. And I'm gonna pick it up. Let's put this underneath here and give it some support. And I'm gonna stamp it with my black Memento ink pad first. Push it down. I want it to be darker, so I'm gonna stamp it again. Oh yes, it's fabulous. Then I'm going to just clean the ink off this stamp. I'm gonna stamp another time, this time using Versamark, and I'm going to emboss this in clear. Now I could emboss this in black because I do have black embossing powder, but I wasn't sure if I did, to be honest, so I thought I'm going to play it safe and stamp it in the black and then emboss in clear. And you can do that for any color. So if you wanted your your sentiment to be in red and you didn't have red embossing powder, stamp it in red just like I did the black. Clean your stamp without taking it off your stamp apparatus, and then stamp with first mark and go on top with clear. Then you can emboss any color of sentiment. Okay, I'm gonna set that with my heat tool. Now it's time to cut the card base. I know I want the card base to be basic black. So I'm using an 8.5 by 11 piece of basic black, and what I ordinarily do is I score my entire piece first. So I'm scoring at the 4 1/4. You can probably hear Cooper outside barking at who knows what. And then I flip it around and cut it at the 5 1/2 mark. And then I have 2 card bases, so I can just put the other one away and I've got it ready for another card. But I want to mat this on yet another piece, and I'm not sure what color I'm gonna do yet. Okay, I have decided I'm gonna go with basic white, just because I've found the other colors kind of blended in too much. I think the basic white is really nice. I've also decided I want to round the corners on this. So I'm gonna do that on the top 2 corners. I'm going to do that to my card base as well, and also to the white. And I'm just doing the top 2 first to see how it looks, and then I'll decide if I want to do the bottom corners. Just for a bit of variety. Huh, that's kind of cool. I like that. I'm gonna keep it just the top. I have pulled out some crinkle ribbon. I'm gonna use my dark old olive Stampin' Blend and dye this ribbon. It's a cool thing, hey guys. You can use your markers, your ink pads. You can use our regular markers, you can use the Stampin' Blends like I am, you can even use the ink refills and just get a little dish of water and add a few drops of your ink refill, put your ribbon in, and then wring it out, let it dry, and you've dyed your ribbons, so you can make these any colors you want. So now I have my bow. See, I think it just kind of jazzes it up. Even though it's for a guy, the little ribbon lets them know they're extra special, right? And do I want it there or in the middle? Or do I want it there, offset it? I think I kind of want to offset it a bit, like so. So let me get some glue dots. Is my finished birthday card. So you can see that Peaceful Deer set doesn't have to be just for Christmas. Makes a beautiful masculine card as well. Just incorporating some different sentiments. Okay, so I am going to make the little coordinating picture frame doing exactly the same thing. The only difference, well, one of the differences is I'm using a smaller piece of basic white. So this measures 2.5 by 3.5 because that's the measurement of this frame that I bought. So let's just remove this. All right, I'm gonna do the same thing on this as I did for the card, but I'm gonna speed up the filming for you. Alright, so I think that piece is done. I got the antlers a lot better on that guy than on the card. But now I'm going to take my frame. You can probably find these at the dollar store as well. I used to find these at the dollar store. This year I had a hard time finding them at the dollar store. Look, you look so pretty. All right, put that back on. It's all in the frame, looks awesome. I'm gonna pull in my Campology stamp set because I want to stamp Enjoy Today and put that on the frame. So let's grab that. And I just so happen to have a piece of scrap basic black. And I'm going to emboss the sentiment in white. In bringing back my Peaceful Deer stamp set, I'm going to stamp Sending Love and Peace this season because I also wanted to add a sentiment on my original frame. And I'm going to stamp that here. So I might as well do it all in one swoop. Okay. So I'm going to cut this first one out. I'm going to put that on just using my glue. And all I'm doing is I'm lining up this edge with this center edge of the frame. But what a cute, fun gift. And wouldn't these be great for craft fairs? I mean, you could stamp anything in there. So now for this one that I made, see now, let me bring this frame back in. See the difference of, you know, where I've added the green for the grass versus keeping it white for the snow. So this one's gonna be like a Christmas decor piece. Okay, I've decided I need snowflakes on this one. I just wanna make it look a little more Christmassy. So again, using the Peaceful Deer stamp set. Gonna emboss these snowflakes in white. I'm just gonna do a few. So I'm going to glue on my Love and Peace. This has been so much fun. So much fun. Make sure it's not upside down. So this one I'm going to glue in the center on the top. Okay, and then I made quite a good sized bow using my linen thread. So I could use a glue gun, but I want to keep it quick here because this video is starting to get long. So I'm just going to put on some of my tear and tape, and then I'll probably add some hot glue another time if I need to, but you know, I kind of think I won't need to. Our tear and tape is pretty good and strong, I must say, and these are sticking really good. Here, look how fun! The snowflakes really kick this up a notch as well. I hope you enjoyed today's demonstration. I know I sure enjoyed making these projects. It was just a lot of fun, and it's so much fun to make a non-card project as well. So I hope you have lots of inspiration. Give some of these cards, projects, techniques a try. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. If you haven't already, I encourage you to hit the subscribe button, and happy stamping.